Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of 2026. This is the How to Hunt Deer podcast. I am one of the hosts, Dan Johnson, and sitting across from me is my man, Jason. Jason, you're dressed up today. That means you're going to school.
Yeah, nothing like being surprised first thing in the morning. I was looking all last week to see if there was, openings because, they put you in a list and you can just click on the website for certain school districts and take certain jobs. And there was nothing available. And I know why. It's because the secretaries have to enter that stuff in for the next week or whatever. Well, nobody was there for the last 2 weeks, so then all of a sudden I'm getting my kids ready. We're trying to get out the door and my phone's ringing and I'm like half dressed because all I was going to do was the podcast and then go about my day.
Yeah.
And so then my day the whole day changes. So
Yeah, that's a fact.
yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I don't know about you, but this morning was rough. Getting back into schedule. I'll be honest, this whole vacation, I slept in a little bit later than I normally do. The kids slept in way later and stayed up way later than they normally do. So this morning was like a struggle getting the kids ready.
I think the struggle was just as much for me.
That's a fact.
I mean, we tried to get the kids to bed by about 8:00 last night just to get back in the routine, and nobody wanted to go to bed. Nobody wanted to go to school, so we didn't fight it too bad. It was pretty easy, but like you, had been sleeping in about an hour or so, a little bit longer, and maybe potentially a little bit longer than that, but
Yeah.
it was okay. I hit snooze a couple times and then got up, so.
Right. Yeah, dude, I'm not a snooze guy.
No?
I don't hit the snooze button at all ever. When that alarm goes off, I shut it off. I take like 5 deep breaths and then I get up. My wife, on the other hand, she hits that snooze button like 10 times in certain days. And that pissed me off, especially when I went to college. Dude,
Yeah.
especially I got a guy who he'd hit his snooze button like 30 times. I felt like, and I was living in the dorms and I'm like, at some point, I'm just like, dude, you are now waking me up earlier than what I want to be up because you hit that snooze. And when that alarm goes off, it goes off for me too,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
I'm probably guilty of that.
yeah.
I mean, I set 3 alarms, and they're 5 minutes apart, and it's like, why don't you get up with the first one, So I snooze the first one, I hit the second one, and then by the third one, she's normally giving me the elbow, and she doesn't have to get up for another half hour,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm probably guilty.
Have you seen those alarm clocks that they kick a ball out of this little device on your? It's a clock, but it kicks a ball out of this little holster that it sits in, and it rolls out on the floor. And in order for you to stop the alarm, you have to set the ball back in the holster of it. So you actually have to get out of bed, go pick this ball up, and then set it back down in order for the alarm to go off. That's pretty ingenious.
It's pretty ingenious, but do you know what the odds of that alarm clock actually surviving are?
For you. Just smashing the shit out of it right away. I love it, dude. Good New Year's.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty laid back just for the fact that, and we had, so her oldest daughter was sick for 5 or 6 days. And then my son got sick and we've kind of all had a little stuffy nose, plugged up stuff for a little while, but those two were sick for quite a while. So we were kind of locked down for the most part. She would go do something and then I would go do something and we'd try to take the other kids. And outside of that, everybody's feeling good now and back to school, I guess, just in time so nobody has to take any time off work.
Right.
So.
Right. I guess in a way, I'm thankful that all of our sickness is over and done with. However, me and my wife are still feeling like this residual effect outside of that. So,
how about you? Good New Year?
Good New Year, man. Laid back. We went to a party, a fondue party that one of my wife's, like this couple that we know, threw. It was fun. We fried some little meat on sticks and had some good appetizers. And then we left at 8:30 and we were home by 9 and on the couch watching some movies and TVs, played video games. I stayed up till midnight for the first time probably since last New Year's Eve with the kids. And then I put the kids to bed. I don't think my wife has seen a New Year's Eve in like her whole life,
Yeah.
or like since I've known her anyway.
Yeah.
And so it was, again, real laid back, didn't do much. We were still fighting illnesses. And then we bounced back and forth between some wrestling tournaments. And my daughter wrestled yesterday, as a matter of fact. Today, we are recording this on Monday, January 5th. It's going to launch Wednesday, January 7th. And yeah, so we're back. We're back at it, right? We're back
Yeah.
into the grind. And I think this is, I don't know. How many more days does Illinois have of their hunting season?
Well, it's a good question. So I just looked this morning, and January 18th is the last that I saw. So basically 2 weeks, and we can shut her down. And it's
Yep.
bittersweet. You know, every time I think about, oh, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna go out one more time. I'm gonna go out one more time. And then there's that little nudge. It's just like,
Yeah.
why? You know,
Yeah.
why? Why fight the cold? Why fight the elements? And then to some extent, the deer that are there, there's a possibility that they're still going to be there come next year, you know, and they could be a year older, and maybe you can have more fun shed hunting them at this point, and maybe keeping the pressure off of them is a good option too, you know. But
Yeah.
Illinois is kind of a free for all as far as the last couple weeks go. It's kind of a joke, especially in northern Illinois, because you get into these special CWD seasons and stuff where you can use unfilled tags and end up shooting more than 2 bucks because of the tags that you have. And I'm just not a huge fan of it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Let's dive into that. But before we do, I'm going to send a huge shout out to, we got one partner going into 2026, and that is Code Blue Scents, real and synthetic deer urines. They have scent elimination products. They've recently come out with a new lineup. And what I mean by a new lineup, I don't think there's necessarily any brand new products. It's just different offerings. Like they have the Rope-A-Dope Mock Scrape Kit that you and I really like, but now they're selling it in a 2-pack, and it comes with some other additional products. So it's like a package deal, and that's going to be for a more affordable cost. So what I would recommend is going and checking out their website, codebluescents.com. And then we do have a discount code for 20% off, HTH20 for 20% off. And I know right now, coming out of the deer season, a lot of people aren't really thinking about gear or stuff, but this is where, from a gear standpoint, Jason, we're going to see some of the biggest discounts in hunting gear coming out of the deer season. So whether you are planning to stock up, or you got maybe a gift card that you got at Christmas or something like that, Code Blue Scents would be a great place to go spend that money. So go check out codebluescents.com, discount code HTH20 for 20% off. All right. Iowa, we end in 5 days. And I've been debating a little bit if I should go or not. I got my muzzleloader is sitting right in front of me, right over there. And I don't know, like, I just don't think I'm going to be able to go out. I want to, trust me, I want to, but wrestling starts back up. The family is back in a full schedule. My son, dude, baseball is starting this week for our boys. My daughter's wrestling 4 days a week for practice, and then 5th day for tournament, the tournaments that we go to. And it just has become like a nightmare for our schedules. And I feel like if I pull away now, it's just going to throw conflict into our schedule, and that family life balance that we talk, or the family hunting balance that we talk about so much, is tilted in my favor, and it's going to throw a wrench into the schedule.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. This week starts basketball for all 5 kids, and 2 of the girls are tumbling. And then I think in another week or 2, they start winter workouts for football. So my son will be doing that. And luckily, that's only like a day or 2 a week. So it's not a huge deal, but still,
Right.
it adds, we're going to be having games on Saturdays and Sundays for basketball. And then once the 2 older girls start games, their games are either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, so it's a lot. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but it's just balancing it and then trying to
Right.
enjoy the stuff that we enjoy. Hunting season for me is kind of on the back burner right now. I ran into a guy the other day when I was up in town, and I asked him about if indoor archery leagues were starting up here, because I used to do it all the time during the winter. It was my night out with the guys or whatever. We'd go shoot and get something to eat, and I still want to do it. but it's
Yeah.
it's a commitment too.
Right.
It's a 12-week commitment on Wednesday nights that I would have to say, hey, here's another $100 and some towards, and I don't even know where I'm at with that. As much
Yeah.
as I love archery and love hunting, the kid thing is a real priority.
Yeah. Yeah, it is for sure. Being honest here, my trail cameras haven't showed too much of anything going on some of the properties that I hunt. There is a buck. It's nowhere close to what I would call mature, right? There's limited doe movement even. I know that there is, we have 5 days of season left. Deer are 100% back on a bed to food pattern. There's no snow on the ground anymore where I'm at. And so they're dispersed heavily. I mean, what I mean by that is they're dispersed all over the place again. There's no big pockets of deer. Like my trail cameras, I got a couple trail cameras that when there was snow on the ground were popping off every single day, every morning and night. And now there's nothing on them
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now. And so we're sitting in a period of time where you kind of got to know from historical data where they're at. There's no clues like tracks in the snow. I mean, I guess we have a warm-up period coming here, and you could maybe find some fresh prints in some mud, but historical data is going to play a huge role in deer movement this time of year. You got to know where they're bedding and know where they're at, and if you don't know, you got to dedicate a lot of time to scouting and not just popping in the woods and shooting a deer. Can you do it? Yeah, but I don't know, this late season time frame, we already got 2 deer in the freezer, one from my boy and one from me, and that's going to carry us through probably till, I don't know, this summer. And outside of that, I hate to say it, Jason, because every time I say it, I want to hunt more. My hunting season's over.
Yeah, I've been in the same boat. New Year's Day, I had an opportunity to go in the afternoon because the kids were going this way. My kids were with their mom, and so I thought about it for a split second, and then I thought about the preparation, and then I thought about my trail cameras, and then I thought about historical data, and then I also thought, and while you were talking, my hunting pressure has been minimal on my properties, but the hunting pressure around me ramps up during the gun seasons. So, I mean, that obviously plays a factor in to my property as well. And then these deer go to the sanctuaries, and some of these sanctuaries are spots that nobody hunts, nobody can get in. And I just feel like that's why I've seen the decrease in the trail camera data and then the historical data. I mean, I could go sit them, and I kind of know what I'm going to see. I might see a couple does. I might see a couple year and a half old bucks or something, but it's not going to be what I would hopefully be shooting for this time of year. I don't need
Right.
to put one in the freezer. That's the big things.
Exactly. Yeah. If we were down a deer this year and we didn't have that, I would put a little more emphasis in going out and trying to put one in the freezer. But we got a good amount of meat in the freezer right now. And would a third one help? Yes, it would. I would probably do some like more creative salamis and sticks and more breakfast sausages and things like that. But yeah, man, it's over. And so I know that we don't have a ton of time today. We have about 12 minutes, right? This is going to be a short episode before you got to leave to go teach. But the question now is, we've already talked about the hunting season and it coming to an end. The next question I have for you, Jason, is now.
It's kind of a battle. Once hunting season is over, in Illinois, I mean, and in Iowa, some deer have already started to shed antlers,
I've
so
seen it.
yeah. So, I mean, it used to be a huge battle for me where I would walk hundreds of miles every spring to find shed antlers. And now I've gotten to the point to where I try to be selective on when I go, how I go, the days I go, and then I also am taking kids with too. We make family trips of it, where 7 of us are out there stomping around. And when you do that, you are putting a lot of pressure on some ground, and bumping those deer off, premature is a little too much to me. So I will wait a little bit. I may try, if I have something on camera that shows these lost antlers, I may go out quick or something, just a quick browse. But my gear is actually, I need to look at my food plots and see what my rotation looks like moving forward, see what's been browsed, and I need to start preparing for that, because believe it or not, spring will be here before we know it.
Right.
I just applied for a turkey tag, which you apply in Illinois, you apply months ahead of time for. So I'm kind of gearing up towards that. But I was intrigued the other day when I ran into a guy from the archery shop, and I'm kind of intrigued about shooting. I may get it out and start shooting, warm up a little bit, but that already starts here the middle of the month,
Right.
So some decisions with that stuff. I will say, since we've talked last, our addition is up on the house, and I can actually see where my new office will be and the new podcast area will be. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to the doctor and we're gonna find out what we're having, a boy or a girl.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Attaboy.
So a lot of my focus is going to be on that for the next several months. So
Yeah. Yeah. And when's the due date on that baby?
May 20th.
May 20th, right after the best part of turkey season, so that you'll be able to get out and go, hey, dude, I'll tell you this. My wife was, my son was born on the 26th of April.
Okay.
And the previous week, my wife wanted to go out. I think she wanted to go out just to move around, just to try to pop the baby out any way possible. And dude, we were really close to shooting a turkey and she was like 39 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
Dude, it was like she was big bellied. We didn't walk too far from the truck, and I'd set up a blind and we got into it, and I made her comfortable, and dude, we were so close, and that would have been badass to have a picture of her holding a turkey with
a belly,
with a big old belly out there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Would your wife be interested in going turkey hunting?
So she's gone through the hunter safety course and everything, and she's gone hunting with me a few times, hung in a tree with me for deer hunting, and she's been in a few turkey setups with me. She loves it. As far as shooting them, I don't know that she has that interest, but it's funny, we were talking about this springtime stuff because every spring we've been going out to Northeast Iowa and spend the weekend out there, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, and we'll shed hunt. And we talked about it last night. She's like, I just don't know, because we always go the end of February, first part of March, somewhere in that time frame. And she's like, I don't know if I can hoof up and down those, because it's pretty steep up there,
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it gets muddy, it gets slippery, it could be snowy, and they don't want to take the chance of falling and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know that we're going to make that trip, it's a bummer, but yeah, looking forward to it. We're having tough times with boy names, so I don't know where we're going with that one.
Yeah, well, you got time. You got a lot of time to figure it out.
Yeah.
I would watch some of your favorite movies from the 80s.
Yeah.
And then pick a name from one of the main characters or like a villain. So like, I don't know, watch Roadhouse or watch Kickboxer or watch Predator or watch, some of those classic movies and try to find a name from one of those movies.
Rambo or
Rambo.
Maverick.
Rambo Thibodeau. Dude, that sounds like a badass. That guy sounds like he would be an offensive lineman in the Southeastern Conference.
It does. But
Rambo Thibodeau.
The bad part of it is like, you come up with a name and then it's like, oh, I know a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend that has a kid named that, and it's just, so we got the girl name picked out in case it's a girl, but yeah, I don't know. So I'm excited about that, and that's kind of where the next few months go.
Right.
And I know I'm going to have to pick up a lot of slack here on my end, with these other 5 kids running around. And, luckily she'll hopefully be able to work all the way up until the due date. And that puts her almost at the end of the school year for teaching. So it should work out okay.
All right. 2026 is a year going to be for me. I've talked about this on the Nine Finger Chronicles podcast in way more detail. But for me right now, I have called and I'm basically just waiting on scheduling at this point. I'm going to get a knee replacement surgery probably in March.
Okay.
So that means that as soon as wrestling state is over for my daughter, I'm going to be incapacitated for just a little while, right? It's a total knee replacement, dude. It's going to take almost 12 months to be fully back to where I am now. Now, with that said, I feel my doctor said that at my age, I'm 45. It's real early to get one of those, but my knee's in bad enough shape where I need it. But this means for me, probably no turkey hunting this year. which
Yep.
is kind of devastating for me because I know how much my kids like it. I might be able to get out and try something. Like, a lot of it depends on how I feel and how rehab goes. I feel like, they say that they're going to get me on my feet and walking within the same day, but I'll probably have to have a crutch. But who knows what would happen in 4 to 8 weeks when this turkey season comes around, if I'll be able to maybe at least walk a little ways, sit down on a stool, and maybe call something in for my boy, as opposed to my other, like my shed season is going to be a no-no, right? I'm not going to be huffing it through the woods. I might bring my kids out to the farm and just be like, all right, you go. You can
Yeah.
walk. They're old enough now where they can walk around and find some of that. Kind of hoping for a little bit more snow to knock
Yeah.
all the grass down and things like that. So pretty much for me, no shed season, no turkey season, and then it's going to basically be a rehab until October. And then I'll have, like, I'm not going to do a non-resident mule deer hunt this year. It's collect more preference points and then rehab the leg really well and focus on that so that I can get back out and be active leading into the hunting season, so I can climb tree stands again and get better, get better at that. With that said, dude, like, it's just, I don't know, it's a priority and it needs to be done. And everybody I've talked to has said, get the knee surgery now. And that way you got it done. It's going to take a year to get you back to where you want to be, but at least you got it done. You're going to feel so much better after that. The only thing I need to worry about now is I started this habitat project where I'm hinge cutting trees and making these thickets in this property. I'm going to have to move that forward to like late February, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it in extreme cold, but I want to cut down like 40 trees. 40 of these Osage orange and locust trees. Maybe I won't even cut them. Maybe I'll just girdle them real quick and get them to die. And then from there, that's a good starting point. And then at least I'll have something, but I'm going to have to move it up because once March hits, it's done. I'm done, right?
Yeah.
I'm on my butt.
Yeah.
That's where I sit leading into 2026. There wasn't a lot of deer talk today, but
No.
here's what I can tell you of what we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about shed hunting. We are going to talk about some gear and practicing and knowing your weapon. We're going to talk about what deer are doing this time of year that we've noticed and how we can tell. Like the next episode next week, I'd really like to talk to you about what you've noticed coming out of the deer season on how well you think your herd health is of the deer on your farms. Like, because sometimes you catch a deer on trail cam, you're like, dude, they do not look good. Like they're skinny or they're wound down from the rut. I'm not seeing that right now, but we're going to get into a lot more detail about that leading up from. So this episode was kind of a stage setting episode for us of what we plan on doing the rest of the year.
Yeah. And I think one thing to add to that coming out of the season and stuff is what can you take away from it as far as where do I need to improve? Are there still areas that, 20, 30 years later, I'm still
like that
failing at, so
yep, love that. Because I make mistakes every single year. Still every single year. Made a big one. It cost me a 150-inch deer this year. So it's things that we got to keep talking about. The more we keep talking about it, the more it's on our mind. And the more it's on our mind, the least likely we are to make those mistakes leading into 2026. And ultimately, what I want for us and for the listeners is to have our best year ever. Our best year ever, right? So any final thoughts before we shut her down today?
No, the only other thing I was going to add to this is it was something I listened to in church the other day. Our pastor was talking about how as humans, especially Americans, we're always looking for the latest and greatest. We're always looking for an improvement or something. Maybe if we can scale it back and enjoy what is in front of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a message that I try to preach in my household all the time, because I'm not a huge fan of comparing things, right? And like, oh, this guy, I don't know. There was this one guy, he shot a 230-inch buck this year. It was a monstrosity. The guy had like 4,500 acres that this guy owns and manages for deer. And it's ridiculous. It's one of the biggest farms in Iowa. And he has like every year he's got like 200-inch deer on the farm, right? And people are just like, it must be nice to have this and that and this and that. I'm just like, dude, instead of putting your energy there, put your energy in where you're at and
Right.
be happy with what you have. And
Right.
block out, if that guy's causing you problems, block him out and just focus on what you have. You're going to live a happier life. So I support that comment 100%.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
All right. So huge shout out one more time to our partner at Code Blue Scents. Go check out what we've talked about there. As we get into the new year, I'm excited to keep talking with all of you. If you want to do me and Jason a huge favor, go check out wherever you download the How to Hunt Deer podcast. Do us a favor, go leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you download it. Also, letting people know that there is going to be more content on our brand new YouTube channel. So if you guys could go and subscribe to it, the sooner we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be able to do some more cool, like, you know how YouTube is, it unlocks certain features for us. So as soon as we can get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be able to do some really cool things. And I know that we've already had a discussion on what we're planning on doing with some of the content that's going to be released there as well. Go follow the How to Hunt Deer podcast it's just How to Hunt Deer on YouTube, and you'll find it. Other than that, man, I want to send a huge shout out to you, Jason, wishing you and your wife good vibes with your new baby coming up. I want to send a huge shout out to all of the people who take time out of their week to follow the How to Hunt Deer and listen to the How to Hunt Deer podcast. So good vibes, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.